Okay, so we'll get started. Thanks for coming. I know that the weather is not beautiful, and you found us back here in this great new space. It's a little tricky to find at first, but it's a wonderful place for us to share and discuss. So we'll just take a moment to introduce ourselves. We'll have the students start first. It's much more interesting.
Hi everyone, my name is Kennedy Hayes and I'm a senior here at Lake Forest Academy.
I'm Krishna. I'm a senior as well and a day student from Gurney, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Anna Markey. I'm a senior here as well, and I'm from Montreal, Illinois.
I'm also a day student and I live in Danningsburg.
And I'm Christine Von Ogden, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs and Director of Curriculum. I was a senior at one point in my life, but that was a while back. So today we're going to share with you some information about the different ways our students, as I put here, become inspired global citizens at Lake Forest Academy. We have lots of different programs available, so students can really tailor their experience to make it work for them. But we like to give them as many different ways to address that as possible. And one thing that I'm really excited about this year is that we launched our global concentration. And I don't know if you've heard about it, but it is open to, it's a 2-year program. Students begin at their junior year, and then they work through it through their senior year. We have 11 students participating this year, which is really great. And we work on a variety of topics, and you can see here, what is global learning. One thing that I want to tell you, and it's exactly what I tell our faculty and our students, is you don't have to get on the plane to have global learning. What we focus on, of course you can, it helps, but what we focus on is being able to hear someone else's story from another perspective, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, feeling empathy, understanding what someone else is going through. And that's what we focus on in our concentration. If you see here, it's a little hard to see on this, but it looks really great on the website. I even had someone write to me and say, "Can I use your image, please?" And I said, "Yes," and it was exciting to do that. But that's actually the globe. And within the continents, you see the different topics that we are focusing on in the global concentration. So we started out with society and social movements. We have now moved into engagement. Then we will move into empathy, collaboration, communication, and then all throughout the entire program, the 2-year program, we work on inquiry. So the students have inquiry-based projects. And I can't wait until next year because the cohort that is meeting now, they'll be seniors next year, and they will have their capstone celebration. So we'll invite the entire community to that so that you can see what they've been working on and how they've been developing. But to give you a slightly clearer idea of how the concentration works, students apply in the spring of their sophomore year. So they have time to think about it, ask questions, see if it's right for them. All of our students have global education experiences here at the Academy. This is for students who want to go a step further. Just as we have students who specialize a bit in the arts if they have an arts concentration, or we have someone who plays for prep hockey and does that year-round and all throughout the summer. Each of our students, they take the path that they want to take. What I love about our concentration is that it's cohort-based. So our students work together as a team their entire junior year. And then what's great is next year as seniors, we'll bring in a junior cohort and they'll all work together. And our seniors get to be mentors to the younger students. And ideally, after they graduate, they go through college, they'll become mentors for the entire program. And hopefully we can have them involved. We already have some alumni involved with the cohort this year. So that's the ideal. We have to wait a few more years to see that come to fruition. Experiential interaction is a huge component of the global concentration as well. All of the students need to be very engaged, have a research topic of their own that they'll identify, and they have to work with the community outside of Lake Forest Academy. So that might be somewhere in the Chicagoland area, it might be in the United States, it might be an internationally based group. But they have to form a solid connection, perhaps go there, perhaps they'll go there just virtually, but it's something that needs to be sustained, and that will be a huge part of their capstone project. Coursework is important as well, but it's not very restrictive. Students need to take a variety of courses that have a global perspective, and many of our courses at the Academy have that. But they have to do this throughout the departments. So they can't just take globally based courses in science and that's it. They have to work through 3 different departments. They have to have consistent language study. So there are coursework requirements, but again, we've worked out the different ways students can achieve this, and it's very doable for any student who wants to do that. Engagement is the key. When they find the community that they'll be working with and the inquiry projects that they'll form, they have to be engaged. They have to understand why it's important to the people they're working with. And the capstone that I mentioned earlier, capstone celebration, it'll be in April of next year, so ideally every April moving forward, and that's something that we want to share with everyone. So if you aren't here physically on campus, we will definitely share that with you on the website and through different announcements. There are a couple of other ways that are, well, many other ways that our students can have global experiences. So you have the global concentration, of course, which is on the academic side. We also are a member school for School Year Abroad. It has campuses in France, China, Italy, and Spain. And many of our students have taken part. They have year-long programs. Most of our students go, if they choose to, they go during their junior year. Some students have gone during their senior year. School Year Abroad, as of this year, has now opened it also to strong sophomore candidates. It's an incredible experience for students who are ready for it. Again, it's not for everybody, and it's not for every family, but all students who are in School Year Abroad, they have a homestay, so they have a second family for the year, and they attend school in one of the home countries. They receive credit here as well, because SYA is an independent school that's accredited through the National Association of Independent Schools, just like LFA is. So they really go to a mini independent school in another country, but they have the homestay component, which you can't replicate here. So we typically have between 1 and 3 students who do the year-long program each year. We have 1 student in France this year. They also offer a summer program, which is of interest to a lot of our students, and it's a lot less scary for parents to send your kids away for 5 weeks over the summer as opposed to an entire year. And I can speak to that as the SYA coordinator here at school, and also as a parent. My daughter participated in SYA France, and it was an incredible experience for her. And that was 2 years ago. She was there when the attacks happened in Nice, so I understand all of your fears of sending your kids away, but it was quite an experience. 5 weeks, not as much of a commitment, but you still get that homestay and language immersion as well as some coursework. Curricular travel, I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's something that I find to be a hallmark of our curriculum here. I'm incredibly proud of it, and it's something that's been in the works for, how long has it been? 8 or 9 years now, I believe, and we continue to expand it. Curricular travel is open to any student who is enrolled in 5 of our courses that offer this. We have a post-AP French course, a post-AP Spanish class, a post-AP Chinese class, AP Environmental Science, orchestra and choir on alternating years, and brand new this year, AP Art History. Each of these courses has a travel component during spring break, and it's at no additional cost to the families or to the students. It's part of the curriculum because the travel that takes place is embedded into the curriculum and complements everything we do. The trips are not mandatory for the kids in the class, but they're strongly encouraged to take part because it really is a very enriching experience and brings alive everything that they've been working on in the classroom. And I'm going to show you some pictures of our students from last year on curriculum travel because to me, the students that take part in this, it says it all. So here, you were on this trip, weren't you? So here we have our students in Panama. So this is our post-AP Spanish class. And they had a homestay for a couple of nights in a very remote area in Panama. They also stayed in Panama City, so they got to see different sides of the country. And you can see here, I don't know if you want to explain what's happening here, because you did that.
Yeah, sure. So this is like the basket cleaning. So like we worked for a day like completely alongside the indigenous group, the Americara, and so yeah, here, and then we did several activities with them. Like they drew like tattoos, like temporary tattoos, and we played soccer with them and the little children. It was really it's a very enriching and immersive experience, I have to say. And we were there for approximately a week and a half, and yeah.
Oh, there you are, right?
Yeah.
And so typically there are service projects in each of these curricular travel experiences. So you can see here they were helping to refurbish some buildings in Panama. The orchestra, which will be traveling this spring, they perform at different locations for trying to think where they've gone in the past. They've performed in nursing homes for children and orphanages, things like that, where they just did community outreach. And here is you can see most of the students. Where are you in this picture? There you are, upper left-hand corner picture. Most of the other students have since graduated, but they also spent time at a local school, and all of the students came back just gushing about how incredible of an experience this was. And they also continued, this is the engagement part, which is wonderful. They had fundraisers here at LFA, got the entire community involved, and helped provide supplies to the school and to others in the past years. This is a view on a tiny island off of the main island in Guadeloupe. And this is our view. I was there with my students from the high school that we spent a day at. So you can see the sugar cane truck there at the bottom. I don't know if you followed the hurricane news these last few weeks. Guadeloupe has 5 islands, and the tiny island off the main island is where we stay. That's where our French program is. And it's called Marie Galante, and that was in the eye of the storm.
Wow.
So my students and I have since been in touch with all of our homestay families. Everyone's okay. There was some damage, but everyone's recovering well. But it's part of us now. We were very concerned for everyone. We learned a lot. The girls, obviously went where they weren't supposed to go at different times. But we made our class alive. We studied the French-speaking world, and we looked into the long-term effects of colonialism. And they got to see that firsthand and talk with people who are still living it. Indigo was the first crop that was exploited from that area, and our students learned how that happens, how the natural way of doing it. We got to take part in that as well. We went on some hikes that were pretty beautiful too. Cooking is always part of French culture, no matter what part of France you're in. And this was actually my neighbor. He had a great little business going. He trapped crabs during the day and then would sell them to local businesses. He was trying to convince all the students that they could take some home in their luggage. And I was going to show you the video of that, but I was afraid it wouldn't upload. He's like, no, don't worry, just put it in cargo, it'll be fine. But it was really wonderful to see my students engage with this young man, obviously all in French. There's no English spoken on this island, and they felt like they were part of the community. After being there for a week and a half, when we went into one of the little grocery stores, they saw the kids from the school that we spent time at. They saw the teacher. We were part of the place. This is AP Environmental Science. Last year, and they're going back again this year, they went to Olympic National Park in Washington State. I wish I could have been on this trip. I was stuck in Guadeloupe, but it's incredible. They were able to apply what they do in the classroom in a variety of ways that you can't duplicate this in the classroom. You can't even duplicate this in the Midwest. I'm just going to go through here so you can see how the environmental landscape changes for them. All within a week, or 8 days, their trip. So this is something that is incredibly enriching for all of these kids. If you find any of them, there's my advisee. She still talks about it to this day. It's just, as a group, as a class, they bond, they learn, they apply what they learned, and they move forward together. It's incredible. And as you heard Christian talk about it a little bit, it stays with you for a long time. Yes. So I'm going to pass it on to the students now so that they can share some other global experiences that they've had, in addition to guys who work or travel.
So we're all involved in a program called GY Live. It's a summer program that's 3 years. So you go the summer after your freshman year, summer after your sophomore year, and summer after your junior year. And they all have different locations, and you meet up with the group of kids from different schools, and you kind of learn about leadership and the environment and multicultural identity. So, does anyone want to talk about?
Sure, first year. So the first year we go aboard a tall ship in Salem, Connecticut, and the main focus of that year is to learn about collaborative leadership. And it's great because you're coming in also with kids from across the country that you don't know, so you go outside your comfort zone. And then once the summer's over, you bring what you learned back into your community, and that's sort of the purpose of the whole GY Live experience, is to take what you learned and implement it in your community to make it a better place. So, for example, last year we served Sodexo and staff lunch because obviously they're just as important as we are in this community, so it was great to give back to them.
Yeah, sure. So second year we go up to New Mexico, and we're pretty much camping in the mountains for around a week or so. And the big challenge there is the final hike, pretty much. So I think I can speak for all of us. It was like around 8 hours total, right? Something around that, 8 or 10. So the idea is, working together. We go in little watch groups, and of like around 8 people or so, we would split. And the goal is to, motivate each other to get up that mountain, as regardless of how long it took. So. GYLI really emphasizes collaborative leadership, which is something that I feel like is very useful in LFA as well. So.
Yeah, and then the third year, which is the one we just finished, is in Costa Rica. And so we stayed in a couple different places. The first kind of place we stayed was a university that focuses on environmental sustainability. And so we got to see how bananas are grown, banana farms, see how other kind of farms work, and got to do some work there. But I think one of the most special parts, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, was homestays. And so we got to go out into rural areas of Costa Rica and stay with families in kind of small groups of 5. And so you are with some people from LFA, but you're really mixed up with these people that you've gotten to know over the 3 years in school. And I think that was just one of my favorite experiences to work on this farm with this family. They only speak Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish, so we had a translator there to help us out. But it was great just to be able to play with the local kids, to meet these families, to kind of see how their life works, and that was my favorite experience.
In addition to GYLI and SYA and curricular travel, which are constants and embedded within our curriculum, we also have spring break trips. Those shift every year depending on faculty interest and student interest. Those this year, let's see, we have groups going to Eastern Europe, to Ireland, and over the summer we have a trip planned to Guatemala and another to Tanzania. We also every year have our Head of School Symposium, which is a different topic each year that we examine within our curriculum. We have speakers coming in, and there's also a trip. This year, the trip is to San Francisco and Los Angeles, because the topic is inquiry, innovation, and imagination. So inquiry, you can imagine where we might go in California for that. Innovation, maybe Google, Apple, those words come to mind. Imagination, any idea? Disney. Yeah. So we'll go behind the scenes at Disney, and then we're going to learn how that comes about, how you cultivate imagination, and how you bring others into it. So we're excited about that. But again, those rotate each year on the spring break travel and the Head of School Symposium topics. So there are a variety of ways that students can design their own path, design their own global experiences here. So do you have anything else to add?
Do you want to talk about spring break?
Yes. We also went on a trip to Ghana, Anna and I, last year during spring break, and that was an incredible experience as well. We got to visit a variety of schools in the area. We traveled to 3 different cities. We met some children who were victims of child trafficking. We visited some schools where some kids had no arms or legs, they were disabled. And so personally, I will never forget that experience, because just seeing us play with those kids and the smiles on their faces is something that I will never ever forget. And that was also part of the Amnesty International Club, so it kind of stemmed off that, and we worked throughout the year to plan for the trip. We raised money for our school supplies for some of the children, so that was an incredible experience.
Yeah, and so Amnesty International is a club that I lead here at LFA, and it kind of has a focus on human rights. And so that year we worked in the past with an organization called Right to Be Free that focuses on saving kids from child trafficking, and so it was really cool to be working with them over my years at LFA, but then we got to fly to Ghana and meet those kids that we've kind of been communicating with all these years. And yeah, we got to have dinner with them and meet all these children, go to their schools. I think one of our favorite schools was the sign language school, and they taught us a little bit of sign language. I can't really do any of it, but just to be immersed in those areas. The national language there is English, so we did kind of have that benefit, but really it's such a different experience to go into different schools and interact with these kids and see how that is, and it really was a touching experience.
So a common theme that you've probably noticed in pretty much all of these opportunities for our students is that we want to build connections. We want to help the students build relationships inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. And that brings us back to what global education is all about, being able to look at things through multiple perspectives, put yourself in some of those issues. So do do you have any questions for us? We wanted to leave plenty of time in case you had any questions about programming in general, about the students' experiences themselves.
So how do the kids get involved in the Global Leadership Institute?
I think you start off, you apply your freshman year, and then after you apply, I don't think you have to apply again for the next few years, but it's kind of a 3-year program. So you apply just to get into your freshman summer, and then the next corresponding years.
And when does that happen?
We have.
So we were like, we wanted to have the students also give you how they enrolled, but we do have open enrollment starting November 1st. And then LFA will also just meet with the students as well and let them know how they can go through that with their parents. But we're trying to make sure that everything this year will be online. We've been doing paper, so we are a team of 4 that go through all the paper applications. So we want to make sure we're able to do that online so parents can see exactly what the program is, how you can enroll, what the costs are. Everything will be provided for you through web.
And typically the way we roll things out at the academy, just in general, is you know, when, for example, when the trips get finalized, Christine makes a morning meeting announcement, and so when GYLI is set to go live for the students, you know, Shiva or Allie or any of the other members of the Stewart Center would go up on stage at a morning meeting and communicate that to the students, and then we use the parent e-news as a supplement to kind of get it to the adults in our world, and so we kind of work together on both of those things. GYLI does have, for some of the trips, we have, you know, as Christine mentioned, the curricular travel is budgeted by the school. And so students, you know, Krishna's experience, Krishna didn't pay to go on that experience. That was budgeted by the school as part of that class. For some of the extracurricular trips, we don't have the resources to fully finance everything. And so the Head of School Symposium trip has financial aid available, but the Global Youth Leadership Institute is something that we offer financial aid or financial assistance for, and have done that in the past. And then, so as students apply, the Stewart Center passes those names on to me in order to kind of keep, you know, that's sensitive material. And so we work through that stuff and go from there.
And even though most of the students will do year 1, which, you know, is the toolship, year 2, the New Mexico, and year 3, Earth, if there is a student that comes as a new sophomore, a new junior, even new senior, they can apply to join the cohort, because often there will be students who have done it, you know, maybe even year 1, year 2, but you know, they have a college, something comes up which makes it doesn't work, and so we're always looking to provide the opportunities for students to step in and be part of the program. Ideally, it's the 3 years, but it doesn't have to be.
How many ninth graders did we have this past year? Do you remember?
I think there were like 6, 7.
Do we have 2 cohorts? We had 2.
How many?
We had 12.
How many are in your cohort?
11 or 12.
I know we had a group go to LA for our 3rd program for year 1, but I didn't think we had any in the 1st or 2nd program for year 1. But maybe it is closer to 12.
I think typically,
Not sure.
I think typically, if I remember, and I think we have about 12 per.
Yeah.
And the class of 2018 is kind of the first cohort that kind of really started pushing this forward. And so if we had 12 every year, that's pretty amazing to think that we have 36 students that reside on campus having gone through an experience that's bringing a collaborative leadership model back to our community. And so kind of a cool thing when you're approaching 10% of the school kind of having taken part in that or some other program that mirrors that. Pretty neat. I was going to ask a question and put Shiva and Allie on the spot a little bit, so I apologize. I'm not for the panel, but you know, the room that you all walk through is the Stewart Center for Global Leadership, and so I was going to put it on you too in terms of what ways you all see the Stewart Center kind of infusing itself into LFA life as well.
Yeah. So the Stewart Center is new, and so right now we're trying to figure out a way that we can make sure that we infuse ourselves within LFA's pillars. And one of the ways that we're doing that is we are starting a table talks discussion, and for the month of November, it will be focused on social justice issues or human rights concerns. And some of the students actually during our morning meetings have talked about issues that are concerning them right now that's going on in our world. One of them is the DACA and immigration. Other ones is the NFL kneeling. We
we're probably going to talk to Amnesty International about talking about human rights issues. They mentioned, they brought up Myanmar and the issues there. So we're trying to collaborate with the students, not just insert ourselves into their community and have them collaborate with us, because that's really what we want to do.
Yeah. So we want to make sure they're listening to your children and what is really concerning them, and that will be our topics. We don't want to provide our ideas of what they should be talking about. We want them to tell us, and we're going to listen, and we're going to have this space, the Stewart Center, as a way that's safe for them to feel comfortable talking about what's going on in their world, and then hear from other people about what's going on in theirs as well. So Stewart Center is a safe space for all of us to just collaborate together and learn and hear each other's stories. And as Christina and Kennedy said, you don't have to go far to learn from each other. So that's what the Stewart Center is all about. Another thing that we'll be doing is our Jenga. I don't know if you guys saw those big blocks of, so those are Jengas, and we just got those in on Friday. We played with some students yesterday. It took us over an hour to do that game. And we got to the tallest point so that we had to stand on stairs in order to actually put the blocks on top. And they had so much fun, and it was just random students that were in there, but they came together and we worked together to do this Jenga game. And what we're gonna do is actually paint on it, the blackboard chalk, I don't know if you guys, so we paint on it and then you can actually write on it as well. So they'll be able to write questions about what's going on in the world, or questions about studies that they're doing within their classrooms, and it gives them a different opportunity to do education, collaborative leadership, talk about environmental issues, any and everything that's on their mind. You can do that through a game, and so it's just a different perspective. And yeah, that's what the Stewart Center we're hoping to involve here. I love that.
Yeah, so just the Jenga and other icebreaker games, just to bring the community closer, just to start creating those bonds together. It doesn't have to just be your little groups and your different grades, it should be everyone.
Absolutely.
You want to go on one of those trips, don't you?
I have another question. Can you tell me how the Year 11 concentration works in practice in terms of classes and everything else?
So they meet as a cohort once per cycle, so it's added to their schedule. And then once a month, there's an additional hour-and-a-half meeting on a Tuesday afternoon. They get half credit for the course, but they do have to complete the 2-year program in order to receive the credit. They can't just do it for one semester and stuff. They can take it as their 6th course or potentially their 7th if their schedule is already quite full. And then we do work with them carefully to make sure that they meet the other requirements, taking courses from the 3 different departments, so it's very well-rounded, making sure that they have their language classes in place. Does that help?
Yeah.
And we do, and as regular classes, we have field trips already too. Last month we were invited to the Chicago Council of Global Affairs, and they spent the day there, had an amazing experience. I unfortunately wasn't able to go with them, but I met with them 2 weeks later, and you would have thought they had gone the day before. They were so excited, they were pulling out their notes. And they had incredible takeaways, not just from what the speakers were talking about, it was a global topic. Empowerment within medical fields, especially for women across the world. But another takeaway that most of the students had was how people presented their ideas and how they supported them, and how they weren't necessarily listening to what the others were saying all the time. And the students had incredibly mature takeaways from this. I was so proud of them. I had to write to everyone at the council immediately after to tell them what an incredible experience it was for them. So as like a regular class, we will go outside of our immediate community and work with others.
Then I have a question for the students now, to put them on the spot. As you look back at your freshman selves and now look at yourselves today, you know, on a scale of, or how would you gauge kind of how much more globally aware you are? Has it changed a lot? Have your eyes been open to a significant amount of things, or were you like that coming in?
I can personally absolutely say that the global mindset that LFA has instilled on me is one of the things that I'm most thankful for throughout my entire high school career. I want to become an international correspondent, and as I'm writing college applications, college essays, and reflecting on what experiences at LFA have meant the most to me, this right here, all the trips that I've gone on, the clubs that I've been involved with, the diversity at LFA in general has really, really shaped me to be who I am today, and I am so thankful for it.
Yeah, the international community here at LFA is so strong. Like coming in, like I guess throughout the 4 years, the main thing I've taken away from LFA is to think from different perspectives. So like we have so many different cultures that exist here. Everyone's everyone's so involved and so easy to gain other people's perspectives and have an open mind. That's like one of the main things that LFA you get with LFA.
Yeah, I think freshman year I never would have imagined I would be going to South America and Asia and Africa all in my high school career, and I think that's a really unique experience. But I think kind of the best part of these trips is coming back and opening up to the community, because people want to know and people want to talk about what's going on, beyond the U.S. And I think that's what I really like the most, and I think that's what kind of made me gravitate towards, talking about human rights and international issues. And as these guys I touched on before, really the community is really focused on what's going on. And I think having international students and having these trips makes people really talk about what's going on and really want to make a difference.
If I could add something. So I am an LFA grad 2013, and I also did GYLI. And I will say, before year 1 for GYLI, I did not want to go on that tall ship. But I came out of those 4 days loving it. I didn't want to leave. I had so much fun, and that continued for the second and third year. After that, I went to Paris and Morocco with Christine my sophomore year on a spring break trip. I also did AP Environmental Science, and we went to Hawaii, which was an incredible experience, working with just these villages and learning about their culture. And I just graduated from Michigan State with a BA in Comparative Cultures and Politics. So I definitely think that everything that I experienced here at LFA has made me who I am today. And that's another reason why I will be going into the Peace Corps in February in the Dominican Republic. So I think it sounds like it's gotten so much better even just in the 4 years that I've been gone, especially with the Global Concentration Program, which I'm really jealous I have now after I'm gone. But I will say it's a great addition to the school, and it really enriches your lives there. So
now do you understand why I love to go to work every day? I mean, I don't even want to follow these. Thank you so much for sharing your sons and daughters with us, because that's what makes every day worth it. And just to hear them talk about it now, and even 5 years from now, they come back for reunion, if anything, their passions are even stronger. It's a wonderful thing to see. Thank you for letting us do that. Any other questions about any of our programming? Anything you want to add?
Everyone summed up beautifully.
I'm supposed to remind you that COAX is performing this afternoon. I believe they're starting at 3:15, and it's been moved inside the student union because of the beautiful weather we're having today.
In Cressy.
Oh, in Cressy, I'm so sorry.
Cressy Lobby, I think.
Cressy Lobby. So please make sure to head over there, and you can support some more of the kids that way too. Listen to some good music. If you have any questions that they pop up this afternoon, tomorrow, 2 months from now, reach out to any of us. We're more than happy to follow up and fill you in. Thank you.
Thank you.